Am I the asshole? For ignoring my husband after he embarrassed me in front of my entire family? I, 26F, have been married to my husband, 28M, for 2 years. We have been together for 4 years in total. I love my husband more than I can even express in words, and our relationship never really had any major dips until last weekend. In high school, I dated a guy, who we'll call Dan. Just to be clear, this is not my husband. I cannot remember exactly how long the relationship lasted, but it was no more than a year. We did a lot during the time we were together, a lot of our first experiences with some things were together. Things did not work out in the end as we both wanted different things in life, so we ended the relationship and moved on from each other. My sister, 29F, ended up befriending Dan in college and they have gotten very close. Since it's been so long since our relationship ended, I really do not care, neither does Dan. He is very close with my family because he gets invited to so many of the family gatherings. Last weekend it was my mother's birthday and there was a party thrown for her, which my entire family attended, along with family friends. Of course, my sister invited Dan. My husband and I usually do not attend birthday parties, but I insisted that we go to this one seeing as it was for my own mother. My husband agreed. X200B. My husband works a very demanding job, so he is normally unable to attend family gatherings, and so he's never met Dan, nor have I told him about my history with him. X200B. At the party, Dan was introduced to my husband as my ex. It was my sister who introduced them while I was in the kitchen speaking to family. When I came back, my husband seemed a little off, and when I asked him what was wrong he just brushed it off and wouldn't answer me. X200B. During the dinner, my husband seemed distant, and so I asked him again if he was feeling okay. He immediately stood up from his seat and seemed upset that I hadn't told him about Dan. I tried to explain to him that I didn't feel the need to, but he didn't listen. He completely lost it and started to call me names that he has never called me before, and he even said he didn't know if he could trust me anymore. This was all in front of my entire family and family friends. X200B. I have been ignoring him since the party. He seems to feel very guilty and he keeps trying to apologize to me. Am I the asshole? Why was Dan introduced as your ex-boyfriend instead of your sister's current boyfriend, a family friend? No one is pointing out that the sister is the real R here. Why on earth, after a decade, would she purposely introduce Dan as op-sex if not to purposely stir shit up? And conveniently while OP wasn't in the vicinity to give the correct context. ESH. If you know your ex appears frequently during family gatherings, why would you not want to give your partner a heads up? Even though you felt like it wasn't a big deal, it probably seems like you hid it from him. Also, what will giving him the silent treatment accomplish? Your husband shouldn't have reacted that way at all. He was wrong for that. Better communication might have resolved this. Not the asshole. First of all, I don't see why your sister felt the need to introduce him as your ex. It was a high school relationship, not like you guys were going to get married or something. Secondly, your husband is not entitled to know about every relationship of your life. He completely overreacted and became unhinged. Not the asshole. Nothing you did justified his unhinged, abusive behavior. Did he call you the W word or the S word in front of your family? Because I could never forgive that. Knowing my family would remember what he said and how he humiliated me every time they saw him would be too much. Not the asshole. Your guy sounds mean and controlling. Even if Dan was only your ex and not your sister's friend, you didn't invite him to this party. If your husband got in his feelings, he should have pulled you aside before going absolutely off on you in front of your family. What a fucking tool. You should be really careful of someone who's going to call you names, especially in public. It's a huge red flag and makes you wonder what they'll say and do in private. Not the asshole. His apology should be as public as his outburst. Definitely not. You have every right to not engage with anyone who disrespects you, especially your mate. He definitely was not acting like your friend at the moment. Sorry that this happened to you. Been that, done there, butterfly, victory hand. Over a high school boyfriend that's happily dating your sister. I don't know what the hell is wrong with your husband, but you're not the asshole if you need time to regroup after such a display. Not the asshole he called you names, in front of your family, because of something long dead and gone. You have every right to give him silent treatment for that. If he cannot have a proper convo about how he feels about the situation without resorting to name calling, then you can't talk like an adult either. Not the asshole. Wow, he really fucked up here. This can't be taken back. And yes, being publicly treated like that is humiliating. You have every right to be upset. I can't believe people get so upset over high school relationships. Your husband may have just sealed his fate in the eyes of your family. I also don't think it was right your sister referred to him as your ex. That was so odd to me. Like, why? Not the asshole, and I would divorce someone for calling me names in front of my family. Who does that? Get out now before you have kids with this guy and he demonstrates that anger towards or in front of your kids. The cold shoulder is immature. Him yelling at you was immature. Especially him calling you names. He's entitled to be upset. He's not entitled to take that anger out on you in such a way. I get why you didn't tell him about Dan. It was years ago, it was over, and you two have zero romantic feelings for each other. It probably didn't occur to you because of that. But I also get why your husband felt blindsided. You two need to sit down and talk like mature adults. You should apologize for childishly ignoring him, but let him know the way he spoke to you is absolutely not acceptable. He overreacted and behaved inappropriately. And sister probably didn't need to introduce him like that. That being said, in 4 years of a relationship where your ex attends a lot of family gatherings, it's never come up. He is a little justified in being annoyed at being caught off guard, and probably had a very awkward and unnecessary conversation with your sister, that could have been avoided. Not the asshole, and I don't think he embarrassed you but embarrassed himself. Not the asshole. Find another BF who is a real adult. Not the asshole. He can't trust you? You now can't trust him not to call you awful names, to hurt you in front of others. He can be surprised. He cannot like that a part of your history wasn't told to him. It was insignificant to you. There is a time and place for emotional discussions, and in front of your family isn't one. His reaction is over the top. I wouldn't be able to have a calm discussion with him for a while, either. Definitely a loss of trust on your side that he will protect your feelings, your heart, your love. Not the asshole, but your sister, who orchestrated the drama, certainly is, and your husband's reaction was juvenile and not easily forgiven or forgotten. He needs to grow up and apologize for his over-the-top outburst to you and then to your family. If you plan on having kids, the man needs therapy first. If there were children present when he called you horrible names, it is doubtful your family will forgive and forget. I feel bad for you. This type of reaction over a long ago high school relationship is a serious red flag. He thinks you are not trustworthy. That is rich. I wouldn't trust his behavior to not escalate further. You should have given him a heads up. It might not seem relevant to you, but your husband was blindsided with your ex at an event. One you knew they'd cross paths at. He was blindsided with his existence, his presence, and the knowledge that you've been seeing him regularly at these events that your husband hasn't been able to attend. And with the knowledge that you've never, not once, mentioned it to him. He shouldn't have lost it at you that way in front of that audience. But it depends on what he actually said. You didn't give examples. Not sure you're a reliable narrator. Not the asshole. I'm so confused what the issue is. He knows you didn't spring fully formed from the earth. Do you know all the woman he's been with since high school? Plus, even if he feels some kind of way, why curse you out in public?